Peace. What's up, family? I should title this video White Power. I was just joking. I just wanted to go over a few things because remember, I'm all about human rights for all and purpose, right? So everyone has a purpose on earth. And I took an oath a long time ago. When I see something red, call it red. When I see something black, call it black. Be true to my eyes, be true to my experience, right? So, Caucasians in America, primarily, I have most of my friends, my white friends, they come from America. I have a lot of, white friends that are from Australia, Europe. They're all over the world, Russia and shit. But most of the ones I grew up have close, like intimate relationships with, primarily, uh, they're from America, right? And when you watch America media and you see how they try to program, and you see movies like Wakanda and shit, where they're trying to program black people in Africa. There's agendas behind that I don't care for. But what I'm talking about more so is the belief in your higher power and not feeling guilty about it, right? So there is a such thing as white power. White people have their power too, and they shouldn't feel guilty just because they're dominant or strong at one thing or the other. And for those who are into like Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, or even the Christianity, which I consider written by savage ass white men, right? Remember I told you all that. You might believe in any of that stuff. Might believe in Thor. You know what I mean? I think Thor's real, right? In fact, I know Thor's real, right? But here's the thing. You don't even have to go that far. I found, in my opinion, there is a white deity, a Caucasian deity, if he considered himself that when he was alive. Because, they changed the meaning from black and white as far as people in the Black Laws Dictionary. I think it's like fourth edition. You'll notice that black was referring to Caucasian people and white was referring to black people. So at some point in history, that shit got switched. That's no lie. I can fact check y'all on that, and y'all have a whole lot of hurt feelings and shit sticking to those colors. And I'm talking about legal documents that's been written, for hundreds of years. So the deity that I believe is the most powerful deity, one of the most powerful deities on earth, and one of the easily the most powerful white deity is James Madison. Now hear me, hear me out. Hear me out. Listen to me. Why? Right. This is my belief, and this is coming from my perspective. But I believe James Madison was an avatar for God or very high power. Um, uh, uh, there are ways to measure the rays that are coming out of an individual, an object, a city, a book, a word, a name, an author of a book, even a structure like a pyramid. I can measure to see, oh shit, how spiritually healthy is this pyramid? What sort of energy is coming out of this pyramid? How high is it, right? And I've done that to so many things, everything in the world, all the eight wonders of the world. I've measured holy places, the plate like Mecca. I measured that. I've measured documents. I measured spiritual books and spiritual readings and shit. The one item, and I'm not the only one to do this now. So there's hundreds of people who've done this. Now listen, hear me out. The one item that I found that has the highest spiritual health, spiritually the most healthiest thing out of everything that I've ever checked on earth, was the U.S. Constitution. Second to that, which even have a higher frequency than that, was the Bill of Rights, right? So even when I compared it against religious artifacts, the Bill of Rights was higher spiritually, like it emitted more spiritual health than anything else could in the universe, right? And this is crazy because since the success of the Constitution, when it was written in the 1700s and shit, and the Bill of Rights, over 700 copycat knockoff constitutions have been written in the world after James Madison did his piece. So he basically became like the format, like the what do you call that, template, the template for all the other countries to raise their vibrations up, right? So You got over 200 countries and over 700 federal constitutions have either been created, recreated, but all of them have been started and drafted off the template that James Madison created. And so that's the most important thing when it comes to Earth. When you're born, you incarnate into a country first. Before your family, the country has to be spiritually compatible with your energy, right? So when you're born into a country, the rules that govern it is the most important spell or curse, if you would, that's on the people because it's controlling all the people. Rules are enforced by the military and the police based upon the rules that govern your it's like the nation's business plan in a sense, right? So now all the countries in the world don't fit our words word for word, but they use the template and they definitely adapt it to their culture, right? Right. And so I know from this system called Samkhya Yoga. Samkhya Yoga goes over all of creation. It's an old idea, philosophy. I read about it. I learned about it from Sri Yukteswar, who is Yogananda's main guru, or was Yogananda's main guru. And in the book, he goes over Samkhya Yoga and how all of creation, it starts with the word. And now this was written before the Bible was ever written. The Bible, John 1:1, when he says, the word is God, or God starts with the word, and so on and so forth. I forget exactly how that scripture goes, but the concept already existed in the universe before that was written. So there's no argument. There's God inside of words, right? So here's the thing. You can't be like, listen, when we're measuring something and it's high, so if I'm measuring an object and it's high, I need to measure the architect of that object because his frequency had to be high too. If it's a book that's written and it's high, I got to measure the author of the book. This is written by James Madison, right? So if it has a higher frequency than the Bible, it's not even close. You compare them side by side. Listen, there isn't anything that comes close to the document that James Madison wrote. So when it comes to spiritual power, like how spiritually powerful could you be, right? If you create something, it will show that you're spiritually powerful. Maybe in your children, maybe in something that you write, but words. We're talking about words here, right? So a person with a low frequency or a low bottom or a commoner can't create something that's going to have a high frequency and then have over the rest of the world trying to play monkey see, monkey do. That's not going to happen, right? So that tells you right off the bat something special about James Madison. His frequency had to be high, right? And so here's the thing. This test, like I said, have been done by several others. I've looked at the internet and I've seen other guys do their measurement testing, either biometric radiation testing, or we use the levels of consciousness, or we use dowsing, or we use radiesthesia. Any of those 4 methods, and you have your scales, and you can measure what comes out. Those who have the skills to do it, they can do it, and it's going to hurt their heart when they see that James Madison and his Bill of Rights in the Constitution spiritually is healthier than anything else on earth, even the pyramids. So going further, let's go further. There is the first part of the Bill of Rights, right? So I'm no expert on American history, U.S. history, or the founding fathers. I'm sorry. I'm a 5th grade dropout. My mom pulled me out of school in 5th grade, and I wasn't learning shit for years. And then she started homeschooling every once in a while inconsistently. A lot of my information, I became autodidactic over the years because I wasn't in a traditional school setting, right? So I didn't study a lot of the U.S. history. I don't have those stories in my memory. I'm going back based upon my spiritual research, right? So here's what I know. The First Amendment alone empowers every American to worship God, their higher power, however they want. In countries prior to this, and even now, there were restrictions to what you could worship. You could get killed if you were worshiping something that the government of that nation didn't want you doing, right? That's why they had to keep shit hidden. That's why they have secret societies and shit, because it was not accepted. People would come on, they had witches being burned at the stake and shit, right? So This First Amendment protects every American to co-create with any worship or religion in the world that they want to make America a better place is the premise primarily, right? So there is a free exercise clause that allows us to worship whatever. If you want to worship something dark, do it. If you want to worship animals, do it. If you want to slaughter animals, do it. If you want to worship any religious practice, do it, right? He also protects, James Madison protects you from anyone telling you that you can't do it. So if you want to be a Satanist or some dark specialist and shit, James Madison is a vibration too. He's everybody's ancestor as an American, right? Very dominant. He will fuck your ass up. People don't know non-visible intelligence, right? So to me, in my perspective, he gave me power that I always have to be thankful for, right? In the Constitution, he talks about us having a Second Amendment to protect ourselves from tyranny. But I can also use the First Amendment to do that. The First Amendment spiritually, that's my gun too. Second Amendment, I'm all about the steel too. So both ways he gives me to protect myself from a crooked government, if need be, or to protect myself, period, if need be, or worship my higher power however I want. And all my life has been spiritually developed in some way. Spirituality has been inside of me and has forced concrete things to manifest in my life that most other people won't ever experience, right? And me going out and investigating and finding out astrology and all the different things that I do, I'm allowed that right. I'm allowed to have the life that I lived because I've had an ancestor, a deified ancestor, who I consider to be a deity now, who protects me and allows me to do that in this lifetime. Without him, hell, if I was born in another country, I'd be stuck with whatever illness and whatever conditions that I was at and just be a failure. I got to give this white man his credit, right? So thank you to the creator of the universe for creating James Madison. And also thank you to the deity, James Madison, because you allowed me and every other American to find our spiritual power. And the thing about it is, nobody can ever take that shit away from us. Even the military protects those rights. So I consider James Madison to be the most powerful white god or white deity that ever existed. And this is coming from my perspective. So I just had to share that with y'all. Hope y'all learned something. White power, y'all.